So this topic is based on my experience of some of you may be aware that I took this Padayatra I was sharing last time when I was here. I was to go na after I did the help talk. I was to go for that. It's a 15-day. Correct, correct. So I went for this penniless pilgrimage for 15 days and to the Kumaon part of Himalayas, and it was an extraordinary experience. So I knew about the law of surrender. Shah Saab ne tame? Ha, Shah, yes. I knew about the law of surrender at that time, but I had not tasted it so profoundly as I tasted it during my yatra. So I was very much excited to go, and I think the entire journey it gave me much more than what I expected. So whatever we will discuss today will be in the context of that journey. Okay. So I realized that one of the best ways to go about is for you to ask me questions. Okay. I was just mentioning to them that I took this 15-day pilgrimage I was mentioning last time without any money, and with a one-way ticket to Kathgodam, which is the base of Himalayas. And from there for 15 days, but I had promised one particular date and time to my family, and I managed to come back, though I didn't have a return ticket and no money. Yes, I had also told them I'll come back by this train, and I could manage to come back by the same train. So God took immense care of me, in this whole thing, and that's why this whole topic of the law of surrender, that how wonderfully it all works if you surrender yourself to God instead of keeping too much in your hands. So before I get you to ask your questions, let me just check with you, what do you feel is the meaning of the word surrender? Hariji, can you come a little on the left so I can see you better, or forward? Yeah, one seat forward, this seat. Yeah. What do you understand by the word surrender?
I mean, we have no other option.
Okay.
No other option other than this. Not that.
Okay.
It's part of it. What is your perception?
When there's no other option, you surrender. Okay.
When things are not going on, you have done everything.
You have done everything.
You say, तू ही मेरा मालिक है.
हाँ हाँ हाँ.
तू ही मेरा रक्षा करो.
तुम ही मेरी रक्षा करो, तुम ही मेरे मालिक हो, राइट.
मुझे पर पूरा भरोसा है.
मुझे तुम पर पूरा भरोसा है. पहले तो खुद पर था, पर अभी खुद के भरोसे पे से कुछ हुआ नहीं, तो अभी तुझ पर भरोसा है. ये go in the flow without doubt. That is also a good way to put.
मेरे सबसे बेस्ट.
जो तू करेगा वो मेरे लिए बेस्ट होगा. हाँ. See, what is the difference between vision and surrender? What is the difference?
Vision, you need planning.
Okay.
Surrender also planning.
Huh?
Intellect adds in vision.
Intellect adds in vision. According to me, they are opposites.
Could be, yeah.
According to me, they are opposites. In vision, you are telling ये होगा ना भगवान, तो सही है, और तो तू है, और तो मेरी लाइफ के मायने हैं. इन सरेंडर वी आर टेलिंग उल्टा. वी आर टेलिंग कि जो भी होगा उसको हम सही कहेंगे. सी, लुक एट द पावर ऑफ दिस पैराडिम. It's a higher paradigm. What I want, if you make that happen, then I will consider you a God, and what I want, if that happens, then only it is great. That is vision. But surrender is what? Whatever happens, I will consider that itself to be the best thing for me.
Vision में you are putting a condition and surrender.
Correct. Surrender is conditionless. That is why it is higher. So as he told, going with the flow without doubt. Okay. So it is like, see, whether you want good to happen to you, or whether whatever happens to you, you know how to make good out of it. The second part, no, is the spiritual law. Now the first part. First part is, what? Self-help. It is not spirituality. Vision, we will come to that point. Good question. We'll come to that question. My point over here is, whatever you learn in this new age spirituality is all self-help. It is useful. Okay. But whatever is good, whatever I define as good, that should happen. That is self-help. Making it happen. Surrender is a different spiritual process altogether. It is spirituality, it is not self-help. It is says ki whatever you bring to my table, I will be able to see good out of it. Obviously the second one is higher, no? You know why?
Good and bad, both are of God's.
Okay. But why is the second one higher, Shahzab?
He is the doer.
Okay, and?
You have less tension.
Okay, and? See, if whatever I define as good, if that happens to me, uska success rate, or whatever happens, I will see it as good, uska success rate. 100% success rate in the second one. 100% सक्सेस रेट जो भी होगा उसको क्योंकि मेरे हाथ में है ना टू रीडिफाइन माई रियलिटी यू नो आई विल रीडिफाइन माई रियलिटी टू सी दिस इटसेल्फ एज गुड यू नो दिस इज सरेंडर एंड द ब्यूटी इज दैट सरेंडर लीड्स टू मैनिफेस्टेशन surrender itself leads to manifestation more powerfully than vision leads to manifestation. Vision is a hit and miss method. All of you must have kept some or the other visions. You must have realized 10-20% of them get fulfilled, others don't get fulfilled. You know, it's worthwhile. It's worthwhile to keep it, you know, not that you don't. It is also a parallel process you can keep doing, no problem. But you have to understand this technology of surrender, it is not a hit and miss technology at all. It has to work. You know why it works? Faith, okay.
Acceptance.
Huh?
Acceptance.
Okay.
Because whatever happens, that only is what I wanted.
I know. That's why it has to work.
Naturally, I don't know.
But manifestation क्यों होता है उसमें पक्का? Surrender के through manifestation होता है.
You synchronize with the frequency.
Okay. Which you do through vision also. Surrender में ऐसा क्या है जो विजन में नहीं है?
You become part of the God.
Precisely, not you become part of God. It is God's responsibility in this case. In case of vision, it is yet we say na vision has to be followed by action, this, that. Surrender is such a process where we are leaving it to Him only, ki Baba, you only have to make it happen. In vision, still there is that element of doership. कर्तृत्व भावना कहते हैं ना जिसको अध्यात्म में, अभी भी वो कर्तृत्व भावना है उसमें कि मैं कर रहा हूँ, वो मैं अभी भी जिंदा है उसमें. पर सरेंडर में तो मैं के लिए गुंजाइश ही नहीं है, क्योंकि ये तो तुमने पूरा ईश्वर पे ही छोड़ दिया है कि तुझे करना है. मैं तो तैयार हूँ, तू जो भी फल देगा उसके लिए, पर मैं चाहता हूँ अगर तू ये फल दे सकता है तो बहुत अच्छा, तो ये फल तूने नहीं दिया तो भी कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, जो भी तू देगा उसे मैं प्रसाद स्वरूप गिनने वाला हूँ.
प्रसाद जो मिला आपको खाना.
करेक्ट. मैं तो ऐसे भी उसको प्रसाद के जैसे देखने वाला हूँ, अगर तू ये देता है तो और अच्छा है.
Is it a part of कर्मण्यवाधिकारस्य मा फलेषु
That is the spirit actually. That is the spirit. That is the spirit. The spirit in Karmanyavadhikaraste is God is telling you through the Bhagavad Gita that as it is, the result is in my hands, not in your hands. Okay. So you better quit. Okay. You better leave it to me only. You know, rather than expecting that it is going to work out.
Mirabai has been given poison.
Ha.
With no, she has consumed.
Yes.
And whatever, she did not happen for the result.
Correct.
He believed in the Almighty.
She believed in the Almighty. Hanuman also jumps just like that, believing that Rama will take care. Huh? Correct.
And today, if anybody gives
Poison, nobody will have.
to all of us, nobody.
If Krishna gives, maybe I'll have. Yeah. So it is like this, you know, कि इन विजन अभी भी बाजी का तुमने तुम्हारे पास रखा हुआ है सब कि भाई मैं कर सकता हूँ, मैं करके दिखाऊंगा, और वो सब स्पेस है अभी भी, यू नो. पर सरेंडर में वो भी नहीं है. सरेंडर में भाई तू ही सब कुछ है और तू ही मालिक है, तू ही दाता है और तेरे पे ही सब पावर्स है. मैं तो एक सिंपल सा बंदा हूँ एक, और हाँ मैं बस एक आदमी हूँ, मेरे जीवन की कमान तेरे हाथ में है और तू मुझे जैसे तू मुझे ले जाएगा आगे, मुझे सब मंजूर है. Some people feel this is a space of powerlessness.
Yeah,
Some people feel. We have been indoctrinated that this is powerlessness.
most of the people, including me, we feel that way.
Yes. So what is the answer to that? Before you ask me, let me field the question. No, कि it might appear like powerlessness. So what is the answer to that?
Powerlessness, that our ego is manifesting it.
Ha,
We are powerless.
ha,
Only one powerful person is Almighty.
Almighty.
This is why so we feel that we are powerless.
Right.
Our ego is making us feel that we are
We are powerless. Correct. It is in the context of the ego that the power also comes actually. You are correct. It is in the context of the ego that that need for power and everything is also there, you know. To a true bhakta, as we call it, to a true devotee, there is no space for having that power also, you know. He is ready to give away that entire power also. To him it is you who decide, yaar, who am I to decide? He understands his insignificance in the whole scheme of things, you know.
Or is it a way, whatever in your hand, do it sincerely.
Ha.
Whatever is not in your hand, leave it to him.
Obviously it is that. Obviously it is that. So we will come to more and more clarifications of the concept of surrender. Okay, please ask this question after some time. But for now, that entire point yet remains that this power, no, the need for power or need for remaining powerful, it is all in the context of the ego. To a true bhakta, there is again no space for that also. You see a dog, how he is with a master? How is a dog with a master? वो खिलाएगा तो खिलाएगा, नहीं खिलाएगा तो वो भूखा रहेगा ना वो.
अपना दे ही लेगा, कुछ भी.
नहीं, और पता है why does the master take care of the dog? Why?
He likes him or
No,
maybe
He feels responsible.
no. That is half the truth.
Dog has surrendered to his master.
Precisely because the dog has surrendered. Now the dog has committed to the master that I am not going to take care of myself anymore. So now the master has no way out. The master knows कि अरे ये तो fully surrendered है, इसको नहीं दूंगा तो ये तो नहीं खाएगा, ये उस स्पेस में है, तो वो उसको अपना खाना भूल के भी उसको इसका खाना याद रहेगा. But our problem is कि we do not surrender to this level, you know, and that's why then God will say अभी तूने अभी तेरे हाथ में थोड़ा कमान रखा है तो भाई तू ही कर मेहनत. You understand? You know. So that space, are we actually having that empty space, you know? Our Guruji used to ask always, why do people give me money? He didn't have a bank account, but he would travel the world to do all his good work. So he used to ask, why do people give me money? So we used to tell, no Guruji, because you do all this great work, such noble work in the world, is that. So he said, that is not the reason. The only reason why people give me money is because I don't have money. Because I don't have money, I will be given money, no? It is as simple as that. When I stop taking care of myself, understand, this is a very revolutionary point. Okay, it's a very revolutionary point in the name of all this self-help industry currently. You have to understand. When I stop taking care of myself, God takes care of me. As long as I take care of myself, God is too busy to take care of me. Because God knows that, okay, He is taking care of Himself. Let Him try as long as He is trying. Who am I to interfere? When He calls for me, I will go.
फोन करेगा तो मैं आऊँगा बात करने.
Ha, correct. Okay, now we can touch upon your question.
हाँ, आप एग्जांपल दे रहे थे ना.
Ha,
So my mother also is a housewife.
yes.
She is not earning, but every year she goes to Canada, she goes to US.
Ha,
तो मैं मम्मी को पूछता हूँ कि कैसा, बोलता है surrender myself.
correct.
तो automatically सब
It
काम हो
happens.
जाता है.
Yes. Our culture, unfortunately, is such a culture nowadays that we insist upon standing on our own 2 feet. You know, and that is where the mistake happens. We have to do whatever requires to be done, you know. But to feel that these results have come because of our efforts is a big stupidity. The results are always coming because of God's will, not because of our efforts, simply because of grace. You know? So when I use the word surrender, I don't mean to say that you have to do nothing. You have to do what you are doing, okay? You have to carry on with whatever you are doing, your aspirations, your plans.
तो
कि
अपना काम करें.
तुम करो अपना, रखते जाओ, पर एक चीज याद रखो कि तुम्हारे एस्पिरेशन या तुम्हारी मेहनत या तुमने जो भी फल बीज बोए उसके फल स्वरूप तुमको फल आएंगे ऐसा कोई जरूरी नहीं है। ईश्वर जो है वो डिसाइड करेगा कि भाई उसको क्या देना है क्या नहीं देना है। By and large there is a science कि over a period of time if you are putting in effort some or the other karmas will come back and benefit you, fine, but at the end of the day it is God's will which is making this entire process happen. So instead of saying that our efforts are bringing our results, can we go to a space where we keep putting our efforts but we tell that my efforts have nothing to do with results, the results are going to come only through God. Then you will not misuse the law of surrender. See, a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or a Meera can go to a point and say कि मैं ना मुंह भी नहीं खोलूंगी और अगर मैं ईश्वर में मानती हूँ तो मेरे पेट में अन्न आ जाएगा. For them, they can go to that level and miracles might happen also. Okay, but for you and me who are in the middle of a Gruhastha ashram, we have to keep doing our efforts also. We should not misuse the law of surrender. But we have to understand that the results have nothing to do with our efforts. The results come only from God. And it is not that we can do anything about influencing God in order to give our results. We do not have to get into the game of influencing God also. The only worthwhile perspective we can have is whatever is coming to us, can we see good in it? That is the only worthwhile perspective. Only then it is surrender. Because if you have surrendered and if the result is negative and if you are going to crib about it, again it is not surrender. Yes or no? How can it be surrender? तो वो जो समर्पण की जो शक्ति है या समर्पण का जो भाव है उसका मतलब यही है कि मैं अपने प्रयास करूँगा पर इसके जो नतीजे हैं वो तुम्हारे हाथ में हैं और तुम चाहे कैसे भी नतीजे दोगे उसके अंदर भी मुझे उसमें अपना हित दिखे, कुछ भी करके मैं वो प्रयास में लगे रहूँगा और मैं अपना हित देख लूँगा. This is the context of surrender. So when you operate from this context, then the universe starts manifesting things. If you say a few of these things, okay, I will work hard, or you will say I will not work hard, I have surrendered, it won't work. Okay. You will say, okay, I will work hard and my results should be proportional to my efforts. Again, it won't work. Okay, you will say, I will work hard, my results should be proportional to my efforts. But if the results are not right, it is not right on your part. Again, surrender won't work. For surrender to work, you have to be very clear, I am going to do my part, I am leaving the results to you, and whatever results you give, I will find my ways of seeing the good in that. In whatever way. जो भी मिला उसको मैं प्रसाद गिनूंगा. इसको वेदांत में हम प्रसाद बुद्धि कहते हैं. जो भी मिला उसको मैं प्रसाद स्वरूप गिनूंगा. And then automatically all these things, Munish was sharing with me yesterday ki how Lakshmi and Narayana are always together. When you are on the path of Narayana, we say in our Bhava Samadhi training, Lakshmi follows. So when you are in surrender, you are on the path of Narayana. So if the manifestation has to happen in the form of Lakshmi also, whenever required, even that will happen. No doubt you may not get the Lakshmi which Bill Gates or a Warren Buffett is getting, but that is not the purpose. As long as you get enough Lakshmi which keeps your show going, more than enough, no? Anything more than that is as it is excess. Even 1 penny more than what is required for your show to go on is as it is excess.
People are not satisfied with that, right?
So when I say manifestation will work, I am not saying manifestation will work in a way कि तुम्हारे बैंक बैलेंस में एक्स्ट्रा 1 करोड़ रुपया पड़ा रहेगा. Manifestation will work in a way that you will always be taken care of. Or your show will go on. Whatever aspirations you have, whatever projects you take up, to that speed you will be provided for. Not that you will have some bungalow in the Bahamas. It won't work that way. But you will be provided for. And if you observe Lakshmi, the beauty is or the fun is not in your bank balance. The fun is that it is coming in a regular manner.
As and when needed.
As and when needed, it is coming. That is where the fun is, no?
तो गाड़ी चालू है वैसा.
बस गाड़ी ही चालू रहेगा. अगर हम ऐसा कहते हैं कि हम समर्पण करते हैं उससे हम धनवान हो जाएंगे, तो हाँ तुम धनवान होगे, पर कैसे धनवान कि तुम्हारा गाड़ी हमेशा मस्त चालू रहेगा. बस
भूखे नहीं मरोगे.
भूखे नहीं मरोगे और हमेशा कभी भी कोई ऐसा क्षण नहीं आएगा कि भाई तुमको
मांगना पड़े.
हाँ तुम्हारे मन में कोई प्रोजेक्ट है और उस प्रोजेक्ट के लिए तुम्हारे पास नहीं है. तुमको जब जब जो जो विचार आया उसकी सुविधा कर दी जाएगी. It is like that. You may not be the richest person with a huge bank balance, because that type of a bank balance is also a very detrimental bank balance. Any money that lies in your bank which is not being used, is simply being used by some other entrepreneur, by the entrepreneur has borrowed it from the bank.
शेयर में.
Right, what use is that money?
It is actually stagnated.
Correct, it is stagnated, so no point as it is of that kind of money. And you will never be able to see the hand of God when you have excess money. When you have always touch and go situation, you know why you can see God? Why?
God is everywhere.
Why you will see when it is touch and go?
I didn't get it.
See, if you have always, you have 10 lakh rupees flush, in your bank account, okay, always. And whenever your bills are always lesser and your income is always more, you cannot see the hand of God.
Because there is no need for him to help.
Yeah, when will you see the hand of God? जब तुम्हारा देने का पैसा 1 लाख रुपया है और तुम्हारा बैंक बैलेंस नील है और तुमको 1 हफ्ते के बाद देना है पैसा, और अचानक से तुमने देखा अरे कल पैसा देना है और आज ये कहाँ से 1.5 लाख रुपया आ गया मेरे पास.
That's the catch.
That's where you see अरे God is at work.
So somebody is there to help you. Somebody will come and help you. That is God.
Which is what we call divine intervention. So when your cash flow is always, very, very sumptuous and it is flowing lots of bank balance, you can never see the hand of God.
Okay.
To see the hand of God, your cash flow should always be touch and go. Then you will keep remembering God that way. अरे भगवान ने भेज दिया यार, भगवान भेज देगा.
Thank you, Karan.
हाँ, it happens with me also. Every month I know all these expenses which I have to go. I know ये month में ये डेट को अंदाज से ये expense आने वाला है, अभी कुछ बैलेंस नहीं चल रहा है, पर इतने महीने से मैं देख रहा हूँ कि जब वो देने का होता है तब तक कहीं ना कहीं से भगवान भेज देता है. तो उस बहाने हम भगवान को याद रखते हैं. All these all true spiritual work I have observed, always happens on nil bank balance. Crores will come, crores will go, or lakhs will come, lakhs will go. But balance, no, God will not keep anything.
But now people talk about financial freedom.
That's a very interesting perspective. That's a very interesting perspective. You know what is the highest, what is the easiest solution to financial freedom?
That is the big question.
Contentment.
Huh?
Contentment.
Giving and then.
At least for a person who is not yet retired. What is the easiest solution? To trust in him. Because his work will always bring in whatever is required for him to invest. As long as he has an active source of income, then that is what brings financial freedom. So this whole context has to be very well understood. This is how all our rishis lived, no? Ek roti, ek rangoti, Ram Nam. What did they have? But they were always taken care of, Or all the masters, they have lived on a nil bank account, but they were always taken care of. How much we insist that we should take care of our own selves, to that extent that gadbad happens. We can make our effort, but we should know that it is not we who are taking care of ourselves. That is the big mistake. To believe that we are taking care of our own selves.
Yeah, energy is coming from God only.
Yes, always.
उसकी दुनिया उसकी है तो वो चलाएगा.
वही चलाएगा. हाँ, उसमें और एक सत्य है कि वो जो फल देता है वो आपके कर्मानुसार देता है फल, ठीक है, पर वो चाहे तो आपके लॉ ऑफ कर्मा को ऊपर ट्रांसेंड कर करके उसको ओवरटेक कर करके भी फल दे सकता है. There are masters who can take on your karma also. You don't have to go through your karma. There are so many ways in which lot of your own karmic accounts, can be worked upon. So God is that supreme energy which can work upon that. So by default it chooses to give you as per your karma. you know. And if you don't believe in the theory of karma, even then it doesn't matter, as long as you believe that finally it is God who decides, either through karma or at his whim and fancy, no problem. You can also decide that God decides as per his whim and fancy, as per Leela only, no karma, only Leela. Even that is fine, you know, because it will work, because at the end of the day you have surrendered to a power which is higher than yourself and which is at work all the time. So do we get the concept of surrender?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, right.
You had told me, you had said one question previously.
Yes. हाँ पूछिए अभी, what was your question? हाँ, there was something.
सर मुझे लगा कि अब बाद में पूछना है ये question.
वो तो हो गया ना, बता-
Okay, okay. So you want to ask me anything about my penniless travel? That will open up. हाँ, now you can ask
But
now.
they're just saying that why do bad things happen
नहीं
to good
ये
people?
बताइए ना ये-
Okay, why do bad things happen to good people? Beautiful. So bad things happen to good people simply so that good people can become great people. This keeps happening, you know, it keeps happening to all the good people, including myself. It keeps happening, and it happens to everybody, to bad people also, but they can become good and good can become better. Yes. And see, there is another aspect to it, okay? Ki God also gives us the results as per our karmas, and God is very neutral, okay? And God and the kind of karma that you may have done in your previous life or even in this life itself, you know. So a person may be good right now, but he may have done some karma by mistake or even while knowing, but then he is good now, he may not have been good then. And not every good person is good all the time also, you know. So the results of those past karmas are also going to come to surface, you know. So bad things can surely happen to good people. But the advantage with good people is when bad things happen to good people, if they have the right context, then they convert that, they use the science of alchemy, and the bad thing itself becomes a blessing in disguise.
They learn from.
They learn from it and they grow from it.
Alchemy.
Alchemy. So पीतल को जब आप सोना बनाते हो उसको alchemy कहते हैं.
अच्छा अच्छा.
हाँ. Converting base metal into gold. You know. That way.
अच्छा, if I summarize what you say,
Sure.
if I'm wrong, please correct.
Sure.
In your life,
Yes.
do best from your side,
Yes.
either career, your
Yeah.
business, your service, or family life.
Yes.
Don't leave back anything.
Yes.
Put your best effort.
Yes.
In between, whatever comes,
Yes.
accept it as a God's will.
Yes.
See good in that thing.
Yes.
Whatever happens.
Yes.
And accordingly shift your choices.
Yes.
Do again your best.
Yes.
Accept whatever happens.
Okay.
And move on to the life.
Very good. Very good recap. I'll add one point to it. What if you don't do your best?
Then it's a big question.
एफर्ट नहीं लगा रहा हो तो आप अगर आप की मेहनत नहीं कर रहे तो ऊपर वाला भी
What
आपको
if-
नहीं करेगा।
Do best means, I mean, without procrastination, without any.
What if you procrastinate?
Then it's a your mistake. God will say you haven't put your
ये
effort.
तो फाइन कुछ भी काम करे बगैर आप सोचे कि मेरे को पैसा मिल जाओ
So if you don't do your best, suppose you procrastinate or whatever, okay, I will give you two aspects to it. First is, who are you to procrastinate? And who are you to not do your best? You know who is acting through you? God is only acting through you.
Agreed.
No, try and understand this first.
Okay.
Try and understand, it's a little radical. Who are you to not do your best? Who are you कि तुमको बेस्ट करने के दिन पे तुमको 104 डिग्री बुखार आ गया और तुमने कुछ नहीं किया? Who are you?
No, in that case it's a different issue.
In whatever case, forget that case. Who are you? Suppose तुम हेल एंड हार्टी हो पर उस दिन तुमको करने का मन नहीं किया. उस दिन तुम्हारा कोई दोस्त आ गया और you got carried away and you didn't put the efforts and you became busy having fun. Why do you want to take that responsibility also on your head? that it is you who made the mistake. No, try and understand, this is a very radical point. You cannot make a mistake unless he wants you to make a mistake.
Oh, but
Yeah,
Bhaviji,
puppets.
one point just I wanted to check. There are points in everybody's life, you come to a point and because of your own lethargy,
Who said that is yours?
just understand, you at that point, in your inner mind, there are two things, do this or do this. But inclination on this side towards lethargy of not doing that
Yes,
thing,
yes.
and you go ahead,
Yes.
then is it not a mistake?
How can it be?
I
Who
don't know.
inclined you to that lethargy?
I don't know, it is my either really God's will or it is my own...
Whatever it is better to assume that it is God's will. You know why?
Okay.
There are two angles to it. I am covering the first angle now. Then I will also cover the second angle so that you don't make misuse of what I am telling. See, no mistake is your mistake. Understand this. Okay? It is God who is acting through you all the time. Okay? You are simply an instrument or a flute in His hand. Okay? And no strength is also your strength. And no great deed you have done is your great deed. And the law has to be the same. Now, if a great deed is not your great deed, even a bad deed can't be your bad deed. How can it be? How can we have these kind of double standards? When we say that something goes right, wonderful, God is responsible, who am I to claim credit? In the same way, if something goes wrong, who am I to take blame? Let me pass the blame also to Him. Try and understand everything. The highest, we will come to that, the highest devotee will pass everything to God. Whether it is success or failure, strength or weakness, everything to God.
But then I have
Now.
some Shadrupu,
Now.
because of that I am acting.
Now, having said this, okay, I say this so that I can help you relieve yourself of all the guilt that you are carrying. Each of us is carrying a sense of guilt, a sense of incompletion, you know. I meet all these mothers I met the other day. I see a common phenomenon in all the mothers. No mother is happy with the way she is parenting her child. Every mother feels that she is not doing enough, even if she is putting in hours and hours. You know, so much guilt. After doing so much for your child, yet you are full of guilt. What is this? So the way to relieve yourself of guilt is to surrender even your actions and your intentions and your everything to God. It is God who gave birth to everything. It is God who is operating through me in this particular way. So then there is no space for guilt or unnecessary type of any unnecessary baggage in you. Okay, this is one part. Now this does not mean that we do not change. This perspective does not mean that we should not change. We should try and keep changing, improving. You know, we should try and keep upgrading. Okay. Now, if I ask you, who is trying and keeping on upgrading? Again, God.
But sir,
God is upgrading through your human mechanism. God is upgrading you through His will. So when I feel that I should go for a help talk and listen to the speaker so that I can benefit, perfectly fine. But God has put this thought. And it is God who is improving me. You know. So can you bring in God every single moment?
agreed. But suppose I am a painter.
Yes.
Now I paint it.
Yes.
This is just elementary this thing.
Yes.
And if I am not satisfied in something,
Yes.
and I am again improving.
Yes.
Same case
Correct.
in other.
Correct.
thing.
Correct.
So if that thought is not there in my mind.
Correct.
To improve.
Yes.
If I am satisfied.
Yes.
This is God's will.
Correct.
So I cannot.
God's will at this moment. Okay. Now the moment the thought comes, the thought will automatically come to improve upon it. It is embedded in us. Okay. The moment the thought comes, who is getting the thought? And who is giving the thought?
God. Okay.
So again, God is only causing you to improve upon the whole thing.
But it is
God only
difficult to
chose.
identify that two thoughts may come.
हाँ.
One is to improve, one is ठीक है यार चलता है.
So if ठीक है या चलता है, even that is God's thought. Understand this.
How to differentiate?
Who are we to differentiate? That's my whole point. In that moment, we just have to flow with it. So sometimes the thought will be कि जैसा है वैसा ठीक है, छोड़ो. That is also God has put that thought. And sometimes the thought will be कि I need to improve upon this. That also God has put. Either case you have to flow with the thought. To say that to be content with that without improving upon it is a negative thought is itself wrong. There are times when you are meant to be lethargic. No problem. That is contentment in a way. You know, in a different context, if you look at the same thing, it is contentment. You are choosing to call it lethargy. And what you are calling improvement, in a different context, I can call it dissatisfaction. Same thing, not different things, the same thing. So sometimes he gives us the combination of dissatisfaction and improvement, and sometimes he gives us a combination of contentment and lethargy. So be it. But am I surrendered in every single moment? Am I realizing that I am an instrument in his hands? All successes are his, all failures are his. In Vedanta we call this Ishvara Pranidhana. Everything has been kept at your feet. And whatever I receive is simply prasadam. You know, that is the prasada buddhi.
So you will say the thought is God's thoughts and action is ours.
Everything is his.
Okay, everything is.
Even the action is his.
Okay.
He is just using your instrument, your body, mind and spirit as an instrument for things to happen.
Okay.
There are people
Yes.
who say you have to wish. You
Yes.
have to wish.
Yes.
Otherwise, God will not give.
Yes.
That is one way.
Okay.
There are other people are also who preach that you make your goal and put your wish there and
So I will tell you,
huh?
you should play around with both the philosophies. Wish and it will be given. That is what Jesus has also told. Okay, ask and it will be given.
You have to wish, pass on to the universe.
I know, but let me tell you one thing, Shah Sahab, that Jesus has also told ask and it will be given. Okay, and Lao Tzu has told don't ask and it will be given. And as a person, you should be able to play around with both the concepts, not just one. I will tell you, if you tell me ask and it is given, if that is the only truth, I will tell you, does God not know what I want?
No, but here you say surrender.
That's why I am telling. So there is no need to ask also.
Yes,
There-
one way.
In the concept of surrender, there is no space for asking also.
हमने छोड़ दिया है अलमारी को कि जो देगा वो only
वही मैं लूँ, ऐसे भी तो मैं उसमें सही देखने वाला हूँ. You know, so in the concept of surrender, there is no space for asking also. So we should all flow into this space of surrender also. Sometimes when we are not asking anything, I'll come back to you. And there should be other times when we are happily asking like a child also from God, no problem. None of us should get stuck to only one philosophy of asking, visioning, wanting, only then it comes. Half the truth. The other half of the truth is without asking lots is given. छप्पर फाड़ के देते हैं तुमको, मांगोगे नहीं तो.
Require 100% surrender.
Yes.
No question should be there.
Yes.
That is not being accepted by the public. If you, oh, Mirabai ने glass पड़ा दिया, she
Yes.
blindly
Yes.
taken
Yes.
glass. But if you give to the whole,
I don't know about the glass, okay, but in the daily life there are so many things which happen. We can happily surrender, uncle. We can very happily surrender. Maybe when it comes to a glass of poison, we may not be able to surrender, including
nobody
myself.
will accept it.
I know.
It should be accepted.
I know. But for example, you get temperature 102 degrees, suppose. Now listen me out, okay. Now our typical reaction is we will pop a pill instead of surrendering to the body. Okay.
It is good by theory,
Yes.
but practically It is not.
I went 15 days without money. How can you say practically not possible? It is practically possible. Otherwise, how will I speak with so much confidence?
Complete surrender.
Maybe not the full surrender, but a lot of it is possible. If you ask me to jump from here to the ground floor, not possible for me. I am not a Hanumana. Maybe Hanumana can do it, but I cannot do it in the name of Rama. Okay? But if you tell me ki you give all your money, I give all my money to you right now, whatever I have in the wallet, I will happily give you and I will reach home yet. So, surrender is possible even for you and me and for each person over here.
वो belief होना चाहिए.
Correct. And you experiment, you will understand.
Without experimentation, it is not possible.
Bhavin, can I say that rapes and murders taking place with all God's wish?
God's wish by your karmas. God executes his wish. मैंने कहा कर्मानुसार फल देता है ईश्वर.
Why should I fight for it? I should accept it. बाबा ये ऊपर वाले का फल है, रुक तो.
हाँ, वही तो बात है ना. What we saw is two angles always. One is कि जो होता है वो ऊपर वाला ही कर रहा है, उसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है, वो भी वही कर रहा है. पर at the same time we also saw कि we also have to keep taking action. We also saw we have to improve. You know. So on one hand we have to accept things as they are, knowing fully well and understanding the technology that it happens as per the will of God and as per our karmas. But at the same time we have to be proactive and we have to keep taking action. Both the things always go together. So they say कि भाग्यवाद जो है, बहुत लोग बोलते हैं भाग्यवाद कि तुम fatalistic. Fatalism is a very high science. To be a fatalistic takes a lot of guts. To believe that I will reap only what is there in my fate, okay, and to operate by that takes a lot of guts. You know, lot of guts. And along with that, you should also know that you have to keep taking action while being a fatalist.
Bhavin, when I take action on that,
Yes.
it means I have not accepted it as a prasad.
Not true. Not true. I'll tell you why. Not
Why
true.
should I take action? If I see as a prasad,
Right.
बाबा ये ऊपर वाले की यही मन इच्छा थी, तुम करो.
Correct. Now, see, it came to me, I took it as a prasad, okay? That is one part of the story, okay? Now, there is this another part of the story, which I typically don't talk in the surrender seminar, but this another part of the story that I am also a co-creator with God. Each of us is also a co-creator with God. God is the supreme creator and the supreme doer. मुख्य कर्तृत्व उसका है, उपमुख्य कर्तृत्व जो है वो मेरा है. So I am a co-creator with God, so I have to act the way God also acts. You know, and I derive all my energy from God only, but I will also continue to act. Look at what Gandhiji, how he practiced this whole philosophy. Okay, on one hand he said you have to take action against the Britishers. You can't be a dumb lamb. Okay, and on the other hand he said कि you can't take action in the sense कि तुम तलवार निकाल के उनको मारने जाओ. You know how he managed both the things. He understood it very, very well that two opposites also have to go together. You have to take action, but your action also cannot be a reactive action. You know, he said whatever is happening to you is happening to you, and whatever needs to be done about it should be done about it. Okay, and Gandhiji has gone to the extent of telling that if you are a coward who is a non-violent person, it is better to be brave and violent. Understand? Out of cowardice, if you are non-violent, it is better you be violent but be brave. So he has also told that action is so important. You know, so our action on whatever wrong is happening is also equally important. But if it is coming from a space which is not the space of prasada buddhi, then what will be the action like? I will go and shoot the rapist only first. You know, which is not what is the way to go about, no? The way to go about is to go and sit with him and transform him.
Means we have to act with that attitude.
Precisely, precisely. Only then it will help you to act without that flame of reactivity. Anything that happens in your life, your action is free of the past karmas only when you have decoupled it from whatever is happening. When there are no no emotions involved which have been created through the past karmic bandhana of that thing having happened. And that can happen when you see everything as the wish of God. So it is both the things together. I read something very beautiful recently by Sri Ravi Shankar. He says that look at your past as your fate and your future as your free will.
Future as?
Your free will.
Okay.
You know, people ask whether it is free will or fate. ये प्रारब्ध है कि पुरुषार्थ है, सत्य क्या है? तो जो भी हो चुका है वो सब प्रारब्ध था और जो भी होने वाला है वो सब पुरुषार्थ के दायरे में है. ऐसे पकड़ो. जो हो चुका वो तो होने ही वाला था, मैं कुछ भी कर लेता ना, मैं उसको नहीं संभाल पाता. पर जो होने वाला है वो मेरे हाथ में है और मैं करते रहूंगा.
My point was that.
Correct. So I am yet telling that in every moment, the moment it is happening, you tell it is God who has chosen it this way.
That
You know?
attitude is okay.
Yes, and at the same time, for the next action, you say it is in my hands, but again when I say it is in my hands, eventually it is for God to decide. You know, and it is God who is taking action through me. When I say my hands, means in the hands of the instrument which is in the hands of God.
खाली एक जरिया है.
Zariya hai. Eventually, so it is always in God's hand, whether the past or the future. You know. So when we come from this space, you know, we feel very liberated. That it is not we.
There will not be guilt.
No, what guilt? If I am failing, then I know he is choosing it this way in this moment. No, and we are not saying that this is how it is going to. He is going to choose for the rest of my life also. You know, it is not despondent fatalism as we call it, कि निराशावादी भाग्यवाद, कि हमेशा ऐसा ही रहने वाला है. इस क्षण में ईश्वर की इच्छा ये है, बस, पीरियड. अगले क्षण में उसकी इच्छा क्या होगी, मेरी इच्छा क्या होगी, वो तो पूरा गेम बाकी है. So when you come from this space,
Then there will not be emotional turbulence.
no emotional turbulence. Where is the emotional turbulence? And again, if there is any emotional turbulence, whom will you ascribe it to? God. So again, even that will go down. Because he wants me to be troubled in this moment in this way, so be it. You understand? If he wants me to be troubled in this way, in this moment, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever, so be it. That is what surrender is all about, no?
So this troubling का thing आप बोल रहे हो, और मैं trouble हो रहा हूँ किसी वजह से, so should I blame God or should I blame the situation or what?
Yes. So if you are going to blame, no, then don't blame anyone.
Okay.
If you are going to take ownership, then you take ownership.
No, sir, here. What is going to happen?
Huh.
It is happening.
Right.
Then why go to surrender?
Why go to?
Surrender.
Surrendering. It is going to happen.
But that context itself is surrender. What you are telling itself is surrender. You don't have to specially surrender also.
No, but one thing that is topic is that you surrender to the God or
Right.
some
To existence or universe or whatever you use.
Why to fear and why to think so long that you have to surrender and this thing and that thing? What is going to happen? It is going to happen.
That is what is surrender.
Surrender means now you have pointing out separately as surrender to be.
Correct. So I did not point out also. If you come from this space, no. If you come from this space, you know, this space can give you a lot of ease. Okay. And we also have to understand, sometimes when I say yes, you know, if somebody tells what is going to happen is going to happen. If you ask me, I will say yes. Most of the people will tell you no. Most of the people will tell you ki you can change it, this, that. No, you can change your future, you can change your destiny. But I'll say what is going to happen is going to happen. Okay. Now, second question you will ask me, then why should I do anything? Correct or not? So my second answer to that is also, you know, it's a very simple logical answer. Okay. Can you not do? Is it in your hands not to do? Your body, mind, spirit has been programmed in a way that if action तुमसे होने ही वाला है, तुम उसको भी नहीं रोक पाने वाले हो, तो तुम कौन होते हो ये बोलने वाले कि अगर जो लिखा है वही लिखा है तो मैं क्यों कुछ एक्शन लूं? तुम तो एक्शन लेने ही वाले हो.
That is act as per your free will.
Act as per your free will, or you can say that action itself is also a preconditioned action by God. So if somebody tells कि अगर आप बोल रहे हो सर कि जो होने वाला है वो होने ही वाला है तो मैं एक्शन क्यों लूँ, तो my answer is कि can you not act? You will act. If it is written for you to act, you will act also. The surrender will come when you are acting and you tell yourself, this is also not my action. This is also happening by itself. My body, mind, spirit has been programmed to act. So I cannot not act also. If there is a challenge, I am bound to act. Yes, sir, I welcome your questions because it is a topic of that type. Yes.
In which way it is the right one? Because Saranam is a now special way it is told now.
Ha.
Anything, well, you have to do effort.
Yes.
Whatever result will come, can come. Why think so big?
Yes.
Surrender and this thing and that. It is what we are doing our effort to improve ourselves.
We are not doing efforts, sir. Efforts are happening through us.
No? And here it comes the problem. Here comes the problem.
So in the context of surrender, okay, in the context of surrender, today we are discussing bhakti. Okay, you can take up any marg, but in the context of surrender, efforts are happening through us. We are instruments in his hands. એન્ડ આપણે ગુજરાતી છો ને તમે, આપણે ગુજરાતીમાં કહીએ શ્યામ તારી બંસી બનીને ભજવું છે જગ મારે, સૂર છેડવા કેવા ક્યારે તે જોવાનું તારે. I want to be a flute in your hand. What way, when you want to play which raga, you decide, Baba. I am ready to play a flute in your hand.
Everybody's fate is already as per the God's will decided. His fate, my fate, and everything.
Yes.
It's already decided.
Yes.
Now surrender is one of the to the God is already, whether you decide or not decide.
Okay.
It is already there.
Okay.
So what is the specialty now about the surrender?
No, I can either surrender consciously or I will not surrender consciously. No. There is a chance I may not surrender. Then I am fighting the scheme of things.
That is what I say. Surrendering consciously and without conscious surrendering, already we are doing our work.
No, people are not doing. No, people are in resistance. People are in resistance, non-acceptance. That means that people are not in surrender. So when you understand this theory that there is a possibility of surrender, then automatically you move into, you drop that resistance and you flow with whatever is happening. That is surrender.
Guilt conscious में मत रहो. Guilt conscious में मत रहो.
So that is why this extra point is required, where we help people, to be able to see, that, and that is also, I telling you and you getting my point is also a part of the scheme of things of everything being pre-planned. Na? Let me tell you. इसमें भी मेरा कुछ नहीं है. God is speaking through me in this moment and God is listening through you this moment, and this is also pre-decided and this is also happening as per plan. Okay, as per God's plan. Everything is happening as per God's will. And can we use this theory in a way that it liberates us but doesn't disempower us? That is the key. And how to ensure that once in a while your consciousness should be such, it should have space to operate by this theory, the theory of surrender, at the same time by the theory that you are a co-creator with God and God has left a lot of power in you, to be able to move things around in this world, to be able to shift things. Can we operate from both these spaces together, though they appear contradictory? That is the key.
But
Then we are living a full life.
at right time to understand which mode you have to go.
That also, who are we to decide? We will be given the right understanding. We will be given the right understanding. When we are operating from both, we will be given the right understanding from time to time. Sometimes you will be a bhakta. A bhakta is a person who says, आप सब कुछ हो, मैं कुछ नहीं हूँ, आप मुझे संभाल लो. A ज्ञानी is a person who says कि तुम जैसे हो ना, मैं तुम्हारे जैसा हूँ, मैं तुमको टक्कर देता हूँ. बेटा जब या तो बेटा बोलेगा बाप तुम मुझे संभाल लो, या तो बेटा बाप को बोलेगा कि मैं अभी तुम्हारे से भी ज़्यादा काबिल हो गया हूँ, और बाप खुश होगा, दुखी नहीं होगा बाप। तो अगर मैं ईश्वर को या तो 2 चीज़ कह सकता हूँ, या तो मैं कह सकता हूँ मैं तुम्हारा सेवक हूँ तुम मुझे संभाल लो, या तो मैं कह सकता हूँ कि मैं अभी तुम्हारे दर्जे का हो गया हूँ और तुम चाहे जो चाहो मुसीबत फेंको मेरे ऊपर, मैं संभाल के दिखाऊंगा, तो भी ईश्वर खुश होगा। पर हम क्या करते हैं, हम वो बीच वाले स्टेज में हैं, यू नो, एंड बीच वाले में नहीं रहना है, हमको रहना है या तो इसमें या तो इसमें या दोनों में ऑल्टरनेटली। दैट इज द होल की, you know, either in bhakti or in jnana. Bhakti is you are everything, jnana is I am also everything. And can we learn to be a person who has fully surrendered and who is into total non-doing, and at the same time can we also operate from the space of aham brahmasmi and I am the doer and I am the one who gets the results and I am fully empowered. You know, we should learn both the polarities ideally. But if you don't want to learn both, become a master of one at least. Don't be in a space which is between the two, because that takes you nowhere.
And then there will be always confusion.
Confusion, and you are nowhere actually. You are neither in this, you are not in that. You know. So being a master of both these things, you know, being in a space. So that is why when we say, so when suppose even on the Padayatra, food is not going to come to me just like that. I have to work like a co-creator.
And learn about those experiences.
Yes. So suppose I want food, so I have to operate like a co-creator with God. So I have to go and beg. That is my action. That small action is there from, in spite of the surrender, that small action is there from my part. And all the time I am telling myself, this action also God is only taking through me.
एक्शन में है लेकिन इशारा उसका
हाँ, इशारे उसके हैं और मैं ये कर रहा हूँ और वो मुझसे करवा रहा है। आज 2-3 दफे मेरे को खाना मांगने को मन ही नहीं करा, तो मैंने नहीं मांगा, तो वो भी उसी ने करवाया।
But it requires great courage. I mean,
I went, yeah,
on Padayatra.
yeah, it always takes courage, yeah. But I feel that day-to-day life requires more courage than Padayatra also. I also used to feel this, but it takes much more courage to be totally honest at times with people. It's easy to go penniless, घूम फिर के आ गए हफ्ता भर, पर ऐसे कुछ सत्य है जो तुम्हारे दिल में, जो हम किसी को तुम नहीं बोल सकते, वो बोलना भी तो सरेंडर है। और क्या है? What is surrender? To be honest with others is also surrender, na? You are telling that whatever is the result is acceptable to me, I will speak the truth. That is also surrender. You are just letting yourself go, right? What is surrender? Falling without a safety net. Letting yourself fall without a safety net. That is surrender. Now that safety net, when you go on this kind of a Padayatra, is the money you are not taking. That is that level of courage. But you could be carrying some skeletons in your heart which you have not been sharing, and if you share them, all hell will break loose. But to be able to share that also and let all hell break loose, even that is surrender, no?
Yeah.
So surrender, the possibility for surrender and the possibility for exercising surrender is there each and every single moment in a day. And we should practice it more and more. After I have come back from the Padayatra, I have made that habit कि wallet में जो भी है वो निकाल के दे दिया, खाली wallet. I am ready to distribute whatever I have today to you. You know, whatever you have, just empty. Every once in a while, just empty. Provided you are somewhere from where you can get stuck if you don't have a car, you don't have this, that, and then see how God comes in. And God comes in amazing ways. In my Padayatra, I realized how He comes in. I don't have.
Wanted to know about
Yes, I had to go from one place. We don't have so much time. We don't have so much time, but I will just touch upon that. When I got down at Kathgodam, I was supposed to walk for 17-18 hours to reach the place where I wanted to go first, but I had blisters in my leg.
You went alone or
Alone. So I had blisters in my leg, and I had wanted to reach at some place, and there was no way I could walk. And when I got down at the station at 3:55 a.m. in the morning, the place where I wanted to go, the bus was there at 6 a.m. And I was just sitting at the bus depot, not having any money but wanting to go. And I asked the bus driver if he will take me, and he said he won't take me for free. And then I asked the conductor, he also told he will not take me for free. And I sat in front of them assuming कि उनका दिल पिघलेगा, पर उनका दिल भी नहीं पिघला. 6 बज गए और बस उन्होंने स्टार्ट कर दी, और मुझे जाना तो ज़रूर था, मुझे जहाँ जाना था वहाँ पे. तो मैंने भी फिर दौड़ के, मैं सर पे कफन बांध के बस में चढ़ गया. पैसे नहीं है पर मैं चढ़ गया, मैंने कुछ ज़्यादा सोचा नहीं. दैट इज़ व्हाट इज सरेंडर. और फिर अंदर गया, तो मैंने फिर अंदर, मेरे को जाने के बाद स्ट्राइक हुआ कि मैं तो अंदर भी पैसा मांग सकता हूँ. तो मैंने अंदर पैसा मांगना शुरू किया. तो वहाँ भी मुझे किसी ने ना बोला. पूरी बस में एक ही व्यक्ति था जो मुझे लगा कि भाई इससे मुझे मांगना चाहिए, इस पर कोई लोड नहीं आएगा 90 रुपीज़ टिकट का. बाकी रिलेटिवली 90 rupees would be too much money for the other people. But he said no for whatever reason. So I was sitting and the conductor was coming from behind, and I had to go from Kathgodam to a place called Ramgarh, and I had asked for the fare. It was 90 bucks and nobody was ready to help. और पूरी बस में एक ही सीट खाली था. और जब तक वो कंडक्टर अभी मेरे पीछे के रो में था, तभी ही कोई व्यक्ति आया, बस के अंदर आया, और वो उसी सीट पे बैठा जो सीट खाली था. और he plus one more gentleman in the bus, those were the only 2 people whom I feel was capable of sparing 90 rupees for me. And I asked this person, I showed him, I had taken a bhiksha appeal with myself. You know, कि I am doing this kind of a penniless pilgrimage and can you support me? So see how God sends people. This person was a caretaker of Sri Ramachandra Mission Ashram in Shatkol, in that area only. And he asked me if I was a parivrajak, and I knew what is a parivrajak. He meant कि am I somebody who is living on bhiksha? So I said yes, I am a parivrajak, and I asked him if he can pay 90 rupees, and he happily paid. So कहाँ से इस बंदे का आने का कोई संजोग नहीं उस बस में जहाँ पे सब किसान ट्रैवल करते हैं. एक ही सीट बाकी है, वो भी मेरे बाजू वाला सीट, और वो भी वही आके लेता है. You know why this happens? Because I was traveling without money, trusting in God that God will in some or the other way take care. And if God doesn't take care, I have enough perspective control in my mind that I'll be able to see good even if I am thrown out of the bus. I will see that also as a gift of God. You know, I have that perspective management at least in my hands. So when you operate from this space, you know, where you know that you are, the moment you carry money, you are telling God ki right now I am ready to take care of myself, you don't need to bother about me. Correct or not? But when you go without money, you are directly telling God right now you only will have to bother about me. I am not carrying money right now. Right now I am not going to take care of myself. So when you don't take care, He takes care of you. As long as Draupadi was trying to protect her sari, she could do nothing in that Chiraharana process. But the moment she told Krishna, ki Krishna, I just surrender to you, now you decide what you want to make happen of this whole process, वो पूरा emporium लगा दिया कृष्णा ने वहाँ पे. So this is how this whole process works, you know. To keep on saying that, you know, most of us don't just take responsibility of our life, but we take too much responsibility of our life. We should not be taking as much responsibility of our life as we are taking.
The parents say, na,
We will end up taking responsibility if we don't understand this concept of surrender. God is there all the while to take responsibility. Let us just do our best and let the responsibility be His, not ours. This is called taking undue responsibility. Taking responsibility which is not ours. Every parent takes undue responsibility of the child also. The parent doesn't understand that the child is being taken care of by God all the while, not by the parents. Parents are just the conduits in the hands of God for the child to be taken care of. When the parent understands this, he starts reducing this responsibility and simply puts in whatever is needed. That is it. He will not take anything over here कि मेरे बिना इसका क्या होगा. तुम्हारे बिना इसका तुमसे, तुम्हारे जाने के बाद तुमसे बेहतर ही होगा. तुम जो कर रहे हो शायद उससे बेहतर ही होगा उसका. जब वो उसकी माँ की खोख में था 9 महीना, तभी तुम नहीं संभाल रहे थे उसको, ना कि माँ संभाल रही थी, ईश्वर ही संभाल रहा था उसको हमेशा. तो तुम अचानक से वो जैसे पैदा हुआ, तुमने ऐसा कैसे सोच लिया कि तुमको संभालना है? Can we remain in this kind of a perspective all the time, that it is God who is taking care? We are just instruments in His hand. If we remain in this consciousness, God keeps taking more and more and more and more care. Otherwise, He will say कि चलो ठीक है भाई, मैं दूसरों को भी संभाल रहा हूँ, तू खुद को संभाल रहा है ना, तू तेरा संभाल खुद का, मैं जो मेरे को बुला रहा है मैं उसके पास जाता हूँ.
एक बंदा कम हो गया.
हाँ. और जब तू ऐसी पोजीशन पे आएगा कि तू बोलेगा मेरे से तो कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, अभी सब तेरे ऊपर ही है, तभी मैं आ जाऊंगा. यू नो व्हाई? इफ वी आर हैविंग अ लाइफ पार्टनर एंड अ बिजनेस पार्टनर इन द फॉर्म ऑफ गॉड हु इज अवेलेबल, व्हाई डोंट वी यूज इट थ्रू यू प्रैक्टिसिंग सरेंडर? डू वी गेट दिस? यस. Okay, so he wanted me to stop for